Yes, ma'am, we'll start.
Yeah. Very good afternoon to all. I'm Dr. Shanti from Department of CSC, CMRIT. It's my pleasure to welcome all the participants for today's motivational session on the journey of innovation, my story, organized by institutions Innovation Cell CMRIT. A hearty welcome to all. This is a great honor for me to welcome today's speaker, Dr. Dinesh K. Anvekar, a great professor, researcher, innovator, a philosopher, and the list continues. And I can't find any limit to tell that this is his domain of specialization. He demonstrates expertise in any domain which he starts working on. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, now I would like to introduce Dr. Dinesh K. Anvekar, sir, to our students as well as to my colleagues. Dr. Dinesh K. Anvekar, sir, is currently working as a professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication, RNS Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. Probably, I can talk hours together to list out his achievements, recognitions, and awards. So, I have taken some of the highlights of his achievements and recognitions here. Dr. Dinesh Anvekar, sir, has over 16 years of R&D experience in Indian Institute of Science during 1982 to 98. He has a unique combination of innovation, Six Sigma, and academic experience. Recently, he has taken the role of Chief Technology Officer, Lab to Market IIC Startup. He was Director of R&D at Vijay Vittala Institute of Technology. He is ex-director, entrepreneurship and professor of computer science at CMRIT. He is Honeywell Six Sigma Black Belt trained and certified. He is American Society of Quality certified Six Sigma Black Belt. He has mentored and guided around 300 Six Sigma Green Belt projects in Honeywell. Got expertise in innovation techniques, including Russian TRICE, theory of inventive problem solving. Worked as lead innovation initiatives at Honeywell Technology Solutions Lab. He has worked as research staff member for 1.5 years in IBM Solutions Research Center, India. Received first Plato Award from IBM and filed 6 US patents. 15 US patents issued for the work done in IBM Solutions Research Center during 1998 to 99. AT&T Bell Labs during 1993 to 94 and Lotus Interworks during 2000 to 2004 and Nokia Research Center, Finland. This is one more great achievement. 100 patents filed in India in 10 months, and it is a record by Dinesh Anvekar, sir, from September 2014 till June 2015. So it is harder to think about 10 patents also for us. See, he has filed 100 patents within a short span of time. So one Indian patent granted through Indian Institute of Science, 18 years of teaching experience in IISc and other institutes. Carried out Bluetooth related wireless research work in IBM Solutions Research Center. Was Indo-US visiting fellow at IBM T.J. Watson Research Center in 1994. He has 15 US patents filed in Lotus Interworks in USA during 2000 to 2003 in the capacity of Director for Strategic Focus publications. Completed two Nokia-sponsored projects in Indian Institute of Science during 1997 to 1998. Received Best PhD Thesis Award of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He is author of one book and he has around more than 65 technical papers. Received Invention Report Award from Nokia Research Center, Finland, and Lucent Technologies Award for paper contribution to Bell Labs Technical Journal. He is a fellow of IETE and senior member of IEEE. Received KS Young Scientist Award in Karnataka State, India. He has supervised more than 40 undergraduate students, graduates, engineering projects, as well as research students. And I am proud to say that I am also one of the research student who has pursued PhD under the guidance of Dr. Dinesh K. Anvekar, sir. Along with this, sir has got many more awards and recognitions. Sir, we are really blessed to listen to his session today. Sir, thank you so much for accepting our request as a resource person for today's event. A hearty welcome to you.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti.
Now, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Dinesh, sir.
I will, I think, share the slide, my screen.
Sure, sir. I will stop sharing. Yeah.
I hope all of you are able to see the first slide.
Yes, sir. Slideshow, I think, would be better.
I'll put it, no problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, this talk is on the journey of innovation, my story. People keep telling their stories. This is my story. I was like this. I became like this. I am now like this. Many of these stories that are told are often sad because earlier they were very happy and later they became unhappy. In many cases, the stories are told to others when they are almost sad only, but when they are happy, not many people might be really interested to listen to the story, but some of them may be interested just to see how they can learn from his story. So the present talk, which has been organized, is basically meant for that. Most of you, as I learn, are from the 5th semester and the 3rd semester. Maybe, if at all, there may be a few 7th semester students. Now, in this slide, I have given my email address. I have also given my mobile number. Often, many people hesitate to give their number, and they will also not give their email. The reason is, don't disturb me. If I give you, you may disturb and trouble me, and I may be in difficulty. I have made it my principle over the last several years that when I give my presentation, I am openly giving my email and my phone number. However, not many have disturbed and not many may disturb also. And there is also a chance that there are about, in this session, about 40 or 50, I could see sometime. Hardly one or two might even note down, make a note of it. Oh, if that professor has come, he gives his number. What is it for me? That will happen. But I tell you, in life, in order to progress, you have to have good networking. You have to meet the right people. Dr. Shanti worked with me for her PhD. Even after the PhD was completed, I have included her in my patents and applications. And even just last week only, she brought forth a problem or a sort of a new device that is available in the market and said, can we do some improvements? And I have made that improvement, and we can even convert it into a product. She is a part of already one or two patents for which she has also participated, and it will be granted soon. That shows that not only is it necessary for us to meet, and also it is also essential for us to ensure that that meeting leads to something useful and beneficial for the two parties involved. In my case, out of these 50 students, let us say, I am somewhat sure that about 80% of them are just there because they have to be there. And for them, it is yet another talk. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ many of you understand Kannada also. So this is the way that they will do. What happens to those 20% who are there? Those 20% have good potential to first benefit from their association with me. They have got good potential to implement on their own also, or based upon what I have given as a sort of a motivation and inspiration from this talk. So unless you, from the beginning, keep that in mind, what shall I learn from this talk? What shall I take as my learning? How shall I see that I get something beneficial? Shall I associate with this man called Dinesh Anvekar and also have a patent? Shall I associate with him and also start a company? Even while I am studying, shall I start a company? Shall I make a product? All these will come into picture. Then some of you will have a mindset, he is a professor in the RNS Institute of Technology. We are students of CMR Institute of Technology. Why we should associate? But both CMR and RNS Institute of Technology come under the same umbrella of VTU. Therefore, even though colleges may be different, institutes may be different, VTU never says don't associate and don't encourage others from institutions other than your own institution. Adu sankuchita manobhavane, it is a narrow-mindedness. Next, in this talk, I may be hardly left with another maybe 30 minutes or 35 minutes. I will try to give you an idea about my story, because it is a story that I have to tell. ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಏನೇನು ಕಷ್ಟ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು, ಇವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಪಾಪ. This is the story I have to tell. From this story, you have to also learn. And as attentive students and listeners, you should also ask questions. Sir, hangene sir, adyak sir madlilla ನೀವು? Why didn't you do that, sir? You could have done like that, sir. What are you planning to do, sir? They may say. So, first is make a note of my email, make a note of my phone number. You can send me, if you liked, benefited by it, feedback. Tumba chanagitte sir, it was very wonderful talk. I never come across in my life this kind of talk that has made me to think in different lines. Oh plus sir, tumba boring madidre, boring agidre. No one will send that email also. I am sure it won't be, because I myself am now giving it in a due way now, in a way that I have never ever given. So be ready for it. At the end of it, at least about 10 minutes I would give for people to ask questions and clarify. So be prepared as you're going. Don't just sit there. Think, what shall I ask? Or ಏನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಲಿ ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿ. ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಯಾರು ಮುಂದೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕವರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರು ಮುಂದೆ ಕೇಳೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬೇಡಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there are no questions, we'll close it ಅಂತಾರೆ. That is not the way. As spirited human beings and students with good potential, you have to ask questions. You should give me a wonder, oh, this kind of questions they are asking. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅದ್ರ. Without much ado, I will start my story. The story of my activities and works, the journey of my innovative travel started when I was 9 years old. When I was 9 years old, in my college, there was some exhibition for which something had to be displayed. My father first made a nice small aeroplane with paper pulp and all that, and gave me. I displayed it. It was a very nice thing for me. I did not do a small thing or simple thing in it. Everything he did it and gave me. Again, little later, 1 or 2 years or so, maybe, I had gone for a picnic, and when I returned from the picnic, my father had made a steam engine locomotive engine, and he gave me as for display in the ensuing exhibition in the college. I exhibited it. There also I did not do anything. Later, around 12 years old, when I was there, he made a steam engine working model, demonstrative teaching aid type of thing, and he gave me. That also displayed in the school. Not a single thing done by me at that time. But during these periods, up to 12 years or so, I was also doing some things on my own, cutting cardboard, making this one, making that, making it a plane and all that. That's kind of things I was doing. But these kind of exhibitions and the bigger things I never did. I was very happy cutting cardboard, assembling and making and getting praises from my father especially, and others also. That journey continued. And when I joined the National High School, I got 15th rank for an SSLC and the first rank for the school in 9th standard. I was lucky and I'm very happy that in that school there was one P.N. Rao. He was a teacher. He was organizing every year a competition for students. School that is 9th standard, 10th standard, all, but anyone can come. The competition will be for about 3 hours or so. Afternoon from 2 to 3, 2 to 5 or so, you have to go there. There you have to bring any material you want. Boxes, cardboards, this one, that one, paint, everything. And in these 3 hours, you have to make a model of your choice. Anything you can make. I participated in the 9th standard by making the steam engine teaching aid that my father had taught. But this time, I did it everything fully on my own, not even taking little help from him. I got the first prize. In the 10th standard, when I was 15 years old, again that competition came the next year. This time, none of the things, whatever my father had told, I did on my own something new. I made a demonstrative working model showing how a 2-stroke engine of a motorbike, like a Royal Enfield, or not even Royal Enfield, at that time 2-stroke engines were there, Yamaha or some such engine. How it works, I showed that. People were very happy. And not only that, in this model, my father had never done anything which will have electricity, battery or anything. I introduced a battery in such a way that there will be a bulb which was glowing whenever the sparking had to occur. As you can see, the seeds that were sown in me by my father, they started growing. And I continued with it. When I was in PUC, I even made a model of DNA and showed to my teachers. So whenever there is an occasion, I wanted to do something and show and get the praises. When I was in the engineering, doing my engineering in the IIC, where I got the first rank state award for getting the highest marks in electronics. During that time, even before my completing my thing, I did two projects. One is an electronic calendar for one of the similar type of thing. I sent a video clip to Dr. Shanti, and that might be seen by you. You just move a few levers, and then once you move the levers and set it for date, month, and year, one of the 7 bulbs will glow, and that shows as a calendar. I also did, because I learned little about in the engineering, some aspects of transistors, diodes, resistors, flip-flops, and so on. A programmable self-tester unit I made, and that is capable of taking any code for a multiple choice test, and it will test whether the input that you are given is correct or not. That won the first prize in the IEEE contest. In the IET contest, it won the first prize. So this way, you can see it continued. During my last year of engineering, in the year 1979, the guide, whoever the internal guide, Mr. Narayanappa at that time, he told me, ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ತಗೊಂಬನ್ನಿ for your final presentation. Not only what you have done for your project work, but all others that you have done, you bring it. I want to show it to the external examiner. You look at that, how it goes. That continued. When I joined the Indian Institute of Science, in the Indian Institute of Science, I learned many things. For the first time, I learned about the computers. What are computers? I learned. And having learned, I am telling my story. Therefore, the story will have so many things. And in that, having learned the computers, I found that they were not teaching in such a way that I could understand everything properly. It comes, it goes, it fetches the instruction, there it goes, it is stored there, and all that they were told. But I did not know how, what goes, what comes, where it goes, how it stores, who does it. They did not give a comprehensive thing. I was disappointed. At that time, there was a book written by Dr. Albert Paul Malvino, The Fundamentals of Digital Computer, or something he had written. In that book, he had also shown the design of a computer called as Simple as Possible, SAP. I read that one. Then I thought, in order to understand fully, you have to make it. And therefore, I took very inexpensive materials like TTLICs and other things, and at home only assembled a cheap as possible computer, which was less than 1,000 rupees at that time. Not even 1,000 rupees. A 4-bit computer I made. About it, it also came in the newspaper. Deccan Herald published it. Many people came forward and said, I want some help to be done and all that. They thought that I had done something great in the computers, but it was a teaching computer. Again, when I was in the University of Science for doing my ME, almost another 1 year later or 6 months later, I built a Z80 microcontroller based computer fully on cardboard. Usually for building the microprocessors, microcontrollers and all that, we require PCB, and the PCB most often it should have to be double-sided PCB plated through holes. But I said I'll do simple technology, and then by using that, in almost the same size as the regular PCB, by using just cardboard, I made that. And along with that, I made also a robot, because I was in the School of Automation. Not a single robot was there anywhere. I made a simple robot which has a simple arm and a moving element. That was controlled by the microcontroller. And both these, I got the first prize in the IEEE contest that was conducted in Delhi. There, the person in charge of that science and technology officer, he said, "You richly deserve the prize," he told it. With that encouragement, I went on. And when I was and I continued my work and also activities in 1982, I realized all these are useless, nothing I've been doing. I reached a state of saturation. I can do anything. I put a complete full stop Zero. Nothing has did anything more, because continue like this only. Where is the end? Then I went with full-fledged and full-hearted devotion to know who is behind all this creativity, and to say in simple words, I went after God and took up meditation, prayer yoga, practiced meditation, and luckily I became the disciple of Paramahamsa Yogananda. Nothing I did, no projects, no models, nothing. I suppressed every one of my creativity, and then from that time onwards, almost about 12 years or so, 12 or 13 years later, in the year 2005, I stopped everything in 90, not even that much time. 1982, I stopped. 82, 92, 10 years. 92, 2002, 20 years. And 23 years, nothing, no innovation, nothing I did. Everything I just kept quiet only. 2005, I began my account again and started doing innovative products and things. And this time, not for any exhibition, but for my own happiness and pleasure. And I showed all that to my father, and he was encouraging me. And nothing, not even I earned 1 rupee out of that. Only to my own inner circle, I was showing it. I built a Stirling engine, 1 or 2 Stirling engines I built. My father had told how to make a steam engine long back when I was a boy. I made a steam engine and showed. Like this, I proved to myself, if I take up anything, I can do it. And that journey has continued even today. And today I am also doing 3 or 4 projects which are actively happening. In front of me, one project is lying, which is to build an Enigma machine that was used in the World War II. That I am doing. That means the journey, when you say, usually when the journey is ending or ended, people say, Engit sir, nimmu prayana chanagitta, sukhakaravagitta, anta keltare. ಈ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಜರ್ನಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ದ ಜರ್ನಿ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್. ದ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಇನೋವೇಟಿವ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್. ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೀಚ್ ದ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್. ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ರೀಚ್ ದ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್, Dr. Shanti and all of you have assembled and telling, please tell us about your journey. I have told the journey which I have completed till now up to this junction, and from this junction onwards, I am 100% sure it will be much more brighter and much more intensive. I am telling with authority, because I have determined that I am going to spend my time not wasting, but bringing out the full potential that I have, and bring out many, many new things. Encourage some people to become innovative and all that. That is my thing. And with that, as long as I live, I am going to do. Another way of saying is, till now what has happened is only not even a journey. It is going from home and then sitting in the train. The train has just started and left the station. So it has just begun. You can understand how much potential is there in future. This is my father, Sri K. Anvekar, who put the seeds of creativity and innovation in my fertile brain. He, when I showed him this gadget, this model, which had some levers, this one, that one, and all that, no one has seen that one, only I have done it and shown. I was very happy doing that one. And he said, let us take a photograph. At the time, what photograph I was saying, now I realize that photograph that I took is a memory to keep for me. So I'm really grateful and thankful to him. Even I'm thinking that in future, all my innovative things, I must organize an exhibition and then allow people to come and see and be motivated and be helped by that. Coming back to your engineering, you are all engineers. Therefore, as engineers, you have to become a true engineer. A true engineer is one who is capable of solving the problems, technical and practical problems, by using his professional knowledge, any scientific knowledge, mathematics, and ingenuity. In this, we can say the engineer must be such that he knows many techniques and technologies. He knows also how to develop solutions for any problem. Anyone who comes and says, "Sir, there is a problem, can you do it?" He can do it. The same happened in the case of the great civil engineer, Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, in whose memory the Vishweshwaraya Technological University is made. Sir M.V. Institute of Technology is also named, as also the college where I studied, UVCE, University Vishweshwaraya College of Engineering, was named. He was also a great engineer. He solved problems. Once there was a dam, it was leaking. Whatever they do, it was that floodgates are not working. He suggested a new type of floodgate arrangement, and that was patented. He used the knowledge that he had. He knew that lead is not corrupt, that is corrosive, it not gets corroded. And lead is very heavy. And therefore he suggested at the bottom of that floodgate, you put a heavy lead bar. And that lead bar was so heavy that it was completely pressing against the floor and it was not leaking. Like this, he has done many things, innovative things. So, an engineer has to be creative. It is unfortunate that at the present time, many of you, even though you have the potential of creativity, are not creative. You just do what has to be done in a very standard manner. Nothing challenging is done. The root of the word engineer comes from the Latin ingenierare, to create. And they have to do that. And therefore, I myself consider a good engineer because I have created many things and I can solve many things and happy to also solve many things. In fact, next week, I have been called by the company Celco to associate with them to come out with solutions for rural applications and especially applying solar energy and other allied fields. When I was the director for entrepreneurship, director for innovation and product development in the VVIT, I started for the first time a company called as teachingandlearningaids.com. There is also a website, and Just Dial asked me to pay 23,000 rupees and said that whoever requires that one, we'll let you across. We'll let you know and you can do that. Here is a very innovative model that I made for the school or college students, which shows how the kidneys will filter the water, filter the blood, and then from that take out the urine and get it out. This is a working model. You just fill water in the back and drop by drop, it will come to the urethra and fall into these two. This is one simple teaching or demonstrative model that I have made. So it means that in my journey of innovation, actually I was doing many things, but I never made any profit. As a boy, I had made an innovative small aeroplane made out of paper and some sticks, and which had a propeller at the end. One can use a small thread which was tied to it and whirl it around, and it gives an impression as though it is the regular flying aircraft. When I was doing that, flying that in Malleshwaram, one man came and said, I want to buy that one from you. I'll give you 50 paise for it. I said, okay, when will you give? I'll give in the evening, he told. And I gave it to him. In the evening, he never came. And till now, I have not received that 50 paise. But God, who is aware of my sincerity, has given me lakhs times the 50 paise as a return, and you also given the potential. At that time, I was creative, but I was not a businessman. I never made an innovation. Another thing you must also understand at this stage is that creativity and innovation are not one and the same. Some may be creative, very creative, and may do many things. Whatever is done by creativity need not be useful. It is only creative. Some things may be useful and may solve your own problems. Fine, no problem. Some of them may be useful because they solve the problems posed to you by others. That is also invention, that is fine. But it is not innovation. Many people are misusing that word or wrongly using the word innovation. Innovation is something which you plan in such a way that whatever you have done is useful to a large number of people in the society. You provide them, they are happy to get that solution, and in return, they also give you business and you become richer. You get some profits out of it. That is innovation. Therefore, I can say at VVIT, when I started teaching and learningaids.com, I got several connections. I want this model for the high school. I want this model for that one. I want this model for that. And they connected with me. I gave them in a shortest possible time at the cheapest possible rate, because I said, let me give them without charging a lot. Without eye on the profit, I made that. The 23,000 rupees that I spent on the just dial, I have gotten back. It has come back. And maybe I made a lakh of rupees till now from all the innovations that I made. I had to compute. So truly I have become an innovator, but I might not be an innovator like Steve Jobs, like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Narayan Murthy, like that will not become, because to be that, it should reach on a bigger scale, and you should become a rich man. ತುಂಬಾ ದುಡ್ಡು ಗಳಿಸಿದಾರ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಅವರು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಇನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದೇನ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, like that they'll say. So it is not the good thing that you do, but it is also how you make that good thing that you do reach people. Only when people get the benefit out of it, they will give you money. Tesla, suppose he has made that car, and that car is very good, then no one can make it, and everyone is buying it. It is benefiting them. He is also getting profit out of it. Like this in society, you have to see ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು, who ಏನ್ ಕಾವಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕದು, and then also you must say how I can provide that, and in a systematic manner you must provide, and when you provide that you must get some remuneration, and you must make it a business. That is innovation. These are models that I made. Again, some of these models are on the order of 500 rupees, 700 rupees, 1000 rupees, like that. Model which shows water purification, working model. Model shows how the vacuum cleaner works. Then when I went to these engineering colleges, this is in Saptagiri College of Engineering, airflow detector model, I helped them to assemble this and show. Like this, I made them to some of the students to do some models, teaching aids, and then they did that. When I was in VIT again, I made one more, which is a circular voting machine. This is a newspaper cutting in that, appeared in Deccan Herald. No one has ever made this. This one is such that the voting machine will be circular, and every time somebody votes, it turns through a certain angle, and because of that, there will be fairness of voting. Probably I have to show it to I have to show it to Narendra Modi and others, and they may say, Dinesh ji, agle election pe aisa hum karenge. They may say that. No problem. This again is an innovation for traffic lights. In the traffic lights, you can put that, appeared in the paper, and in addition to the numbers, it will also give you a bar display. One more innovation, this is patented. In the petrol pumps, the driver can sit in the car and know how much petrol is being filled. He did not have to bend his head and then try to see the meter on the box. It is seen to him through his rear view mirror. This is another model which demonstrate two-cylinder, two-stroke engine. This is a continuously variable transmission model which demonstrate what is a continuous variable transmission, and one batch of students took it as a part of their mini project, and another batch of students did this one and then took it and then got the first prize in the AICT project contest. This is another simple one for the lower class teaching, where it shows math city, addition, subtraction, multiplication, all that are shown. In addition to that, the different objects, shapes, etc. are also shown. Multi-speciality hospital concept. This is another teaching aid or a model. Some of the models of some of the monuments and notable things. Lodi Garden, this Lodi Tower, that one is another one. A tree house model that I made, simple. This is an innovative model, innovative object which made, which shows the Faraday's laws of force on a conductor. That is, it shows the left-hand rule. Right-hand rule shows how the current, the induced current flows. Left-hand rule shows the force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. You can see here there is a hand with a finger outstretched, thumb, the middle finger and the index finger, and we point that, it appropriately changes the current. It also shows, and it shows the practical demonstration of the law of force on a current carrying conductor. This is another model which shows the ultimate, the Higgs particle was made, God particle, Higgs field was made. What is that? How is it? How it happens? This is, it demonstrates that. I made it not for anybody else, but for my own pleasure and happiness, to show that the Higgs field is such that it gives weight to the particles. This is another model, a monument of one of the things that is made. Now, in addition to these, making these things, I associated myself with my classmate, Professor Venugopal, who was at the time principal of the UECE, and today he is the Vice Chancellor of the Bangalore University. And we both associated with each other, and in 2014 to 15, we filed 100 patents. First we started with 3, then he said, let us go up to 10. Then he said, let us go to 100. 100 we filed in the period of 10 months. A patent to file, for example, will be something like this. Someone writes about it. After writing about it, all the things, all drafted by me, because I had the experience of working on patents for the first time in the AT&T Bell Labs, where I was a visitor. Then Nokia Research Center, I took up projects and some patents were issued. And IBM, when I went, 5 new ideas were invented and they got patents. Like this, the patenting experience was there with me, and therefore with that, we filed 3 patents easily, and I was able to, in a very prolific manner, generate at the rate of about 10 patentable ideas per month. And in about 10 months, 100 patents were filed. So, this is one of the things where you can see this is the drawing which I myself drew without any help of a draftsman or anything. An idea which shows how by using sweeping flaps, we can have 2 advertisements happening in the display board. This gives the details, and when I was in the Vijay Institute of Technology, I even implemented that. I put their patent pending, but patent has been granted. It shows in once VVIT in English, another time VVIT in Kannada. We can put 2 advertisements, one at a time, and it will keep alternating, and in an innovative way it will keep on showing. It is an advertisement device. 100 patents that are filed is not, I'm not just saying just like that. We can verify each one of them. We can see these are all the 100 patents that we filed. 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31, 40, 50, 100, 60, up to 100. As of today, 33 patents have been granted to me as an inventor and applicant. One of that, one from the Institute of Science for a project work that we did for Nokia. One for a patentable idea that I developed in RNS Institute of Technology during the last 1 year. And 32 with my classmate have been granted, and 79 are still pending. They'll be granted also. Come COVID, I said, let me do something. I developed a ventilator. This is a ventilator which can be used to automatically push air into the lungs of a patient. But unfortunately, COVID left, and maybe COVID may not come again. The concept is still there, and hundreds of different groups, including IIC, they developed their own ventilator. I developed my own and kept it about this. It also came in the newspaper, which one of the local newspapers. This is another one which I have shown in, actually the photograph is little inverted. This, if you see with your head turned little 90 degrees, you can see this is a dispenser, sanitizer dispenser, which is hanging on the window at the entrance of the University of Visvesvaraya College of Engineering. And I am a proud student of that for having made that and put that by taking a little contribution from a sponsor. A sponsor is one of my classmates only sponsored. I will give 800 rupees. You make and then put that. Like that, one or two he sponsored. And this is still working, and it is done by a graduate, and therefore from the same college, a student became an engineer. The engineer made a product that was useful in the college. So that gives me a lot of happiness. No profit. I could have made profit, but no profit. This is a 4-bit binary adder teaching aid, which I developed in the RN Institute of Technology with the help of students. Students did a part of it. I did about 80% of it. This can be sold to all the colleges in VTU and other places to show the operation of a binary adder when that topic is discussed in the class. The Amudoid educational computer. This shows all the parts of a computer, how they work in great detail. We can program it and learn, and there is a set of instructions that can be used. One more recently, acquaintance, she said a company wants a gadget to be developed where there will be 2 blocks, and these 2 blocks must be such that when you put a certain matter here, it should pull at the rate of some very small point, not 5 mm or so, and over a period of 10 hours, it should pull it by an extent of about 3.2 mm, and again push it back another 3.2 mm over a period of 20 hours. And then they will come and inspect that material. It is a testing thing. I have successfully completed that with the help of that acquaintance who did something else. That I'll show here. This is the model that has been made. He did some of the portions. I did the electronics portion of it. This is the model. It is used. This is another teaching aid which recently I did. Teaching aid which is the model of a rib cage. It works in the sense that we can show the expansion and contraction. This is one of the simple innovations that I made, just to say that you can do it in anything. I did not have a flask, but I wanted my peon to go and get coffee. And if I send it with just the bottle, water bottle, it will be cold. Therefore, I just immediately wrapped around it an insulating material, both above and both the sides and below, and he brought it. It was a hot coffee in that. This is what the patent for which, this is the idea for which patent has been granted as a continuation of one of the patents, that is the fuel station filling station. These are the 4 students who worked for a project under me. They are also the part of the patent. In that granted patent, they are also inventors. Recent developments. Over the last 3 months or so, I have developed 4 new educational toys. Each toy is made in an electronic manner, but it does not have much electronics at all. No transistor, no IC, nothing. By only connections it will work. And the cost of the making the toy may be about 200 to 300 rupees. If you sell it at the rate of about $10 in USA, 1 lakh if you sell, you will get a $1 million profit out of it. 4 new such things are there. I am now about to go and then discuss with one person who has come from abroad, a senior of mine, who has started some companies, to see how we can go forward. I'm also planning to see whether we can go to the Copal type oil manufacturing thing. And also a few more people I have contacted, one in Delhi. If none of them comes, I myself may take it forward. If I do that and I become a rich man, then I am a true innovator. No, not a true innovator. I'm an innovator. I have been an innovator. But if I do that one, I'm a noteworthy innovator. I can say that. Because money speaks. Noteworthiness will come at that time. With that, we have another 10 minutes because I started about 3:10. Another 10 minutes we have. I welcome you to interact, ask questions and comments. And also, you can send me your comments and feedback through the WhatsApp number or the email for anything. I told Dr. Shanti that this talk must be such that not only did we do the talk, but we also walked the talk. We must say that. What do you mean by walking the talk? Walking the talk means what you tell, you do and show also. So I told Dr. Shanti, after this talk, I want at least 2 batches of students or at least 2 projects to be done. Even if one single person is there, along with me, they must associate, and Dr. Shanti also will be associated, and we will do a project and show. And maybe a useful project only may do. And I will give the guidance and also work for it, and we'll showcase it. See, sir, we had a talk. As a result of the talk, we have done these things. With that, I welcome questions from the audience and any faculty also welcome.
Students, if you have any questions to discuss or your ideas to share, now you are open to discuss it directly with Dinesh sir.
I will say the question is not if you have, because right at the beginning only I told you must have.
Sir, good afternoon. This
Good
is
afternoon.
Dr. Manjunath sir from chemistry.
Good afternoon. He has also associated with me and I made him some nice thing.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Tell me any question
Thank
or
you.
comment.
Yes, very nice presentation. I think one compliment, sir, from my side. There is no question, sir. Really, we are really exciting. Okay, you made very nice periodic table for us, and the students are really enjoying with that periodic table. We are really thankful to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be very happy to also help in future with many more such things.
Yes, I'm even still discussing your electronic background, civil background. I don't know how we people are chemistry people, how you got the idea about how to design that periodic table. It is really surprising, sir.
You want to know the secret?
Secret now, I think if really secret, don't disclose, sir. We will discuss.
No, it is not a secret.
Okay.
It is an open secret.
Open secret means you can tell, sir. Yes.
Open secret is such that the secret is open,
Yes.
but you can't know anything like that.
Yes.
For example,
Yes.
when at the time of World War, the Germans were sending the code. The code was everything was clear, everything could be heard, everything can be caught. But nothing you can make out of it because it requires a code to crack. Such a thing is called as open secret. It is secret, but at the same time it is open. Like that it is.
Yes.
So open secret, I'll tell you, the open secret is the source of doing anything and flourishing and showing out is basically exactly following what Vivekananda had told.
Yes.
Man is potentially divine. All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. That's what one thing he told. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in man, he told. So I also followed those. Therefore, you have to make up your mind that all the power to innovate and create is there within me.
Yes.
and I have to bring it out. This is the open secret.
Mhm. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Other students?
Good afternoon, sir. This is Sanchari.
Sanchari Saha.
Yes, sir. Sir, it was very nice talk, and I was having a very good opportunity to listen to your journey, story, and all, sir.
Thank
Just
you.
a small question, sir. What is the basic difference between process pattern and design pattern, and which one is having more weightage, sir? Process or design pattern, sir?
For the benefit of the audience, Dr. Sanchari Saha, who was working in the MUJ, Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, she is also my PhD student, and she is a rank holder, and she is very prompt, and I am happy that she has caught on some of my qualities, like if you send a WhatsApp or email or anything, she will do very promptly, without delay. One of the best candidates, I would also say that. Right? When you associate with persons, you must learn from it. Her question is, when you have patent, what is the difference between the design patent and a process patent, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, patent, when you see, basically patent is given for some innovative idea, and the innovative idea will be such that no one should have done that one. Now, within that innovative idea, whatever you have done, you might come out with something new which is physically seen, a physical gadget or device, that will be called as an apparatus, how it is done. And then compared to the apparatus, you might also now come up with something which will tell not a new apparatus, but the existing apparatus to be used in a new way. That is a new process or new method, how it should be done, that is also patent. Further, you may also tell a new process of doing it, a process by which you follow those steps in that order, you get the result. That you may also patent, that is called process patent. Now coming to the design patent is not usually, design patent is not very powerful. It can be very easily got by anybody. The design patent is not doing something newly and bringing it into existence. It is not a new invention that you make. It is the new way in which that invention is put to practice in a certain way. To give a simple example, let us say at a particular point of time, everyone is using bottles, water bottles for drinking. And let us say the cross section of the water bottle is circular. Now, someone comes and says, oh, why I should have circular? Let me have a hexagonal. Let me have pentagonal cross section. Let me have a triangular cross section. And if he makes those bottles, he has not invented a new bottle or new something. He has made a new design. For that design, you can apply for a design patent. It will go almost most of the time one page only, or 2 pages at the most, in which the design will be shown, the image, a picture of the design will be shown. That's all. So that is the basic difference between design patents and process patents. For all practical purposes, design patents are not much beneficial for our technological consideration because it does not involve technology, it involves the design. And that is more relevant for companies. A company, let us say, is making some liquid or something to be sold. And in order to ensure that it is identified as unique to itself, it may patent a design of a bottle in which it will give that. And whoever sees that bottle immediately say, oh, it is that Coca-Cola, yeah? New Coca-Cola, they must say that. It is like that. One or two more questions?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for clarifying the...
Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. It was very good presentation.
Who is speaking?
So, I'm Pushpa.
Pushpa
Mohan. Yeah. I'm taking 80 subjects, sir. After seeing your 4-bit full ladder, I'm interested to do some product
Do
which
it.
can be helpful for our students.
Do it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. I want some guidance from you, sir.
Definitely, you can get back with me.
Yeah.
Students now, don't be shy. At least one student, because the reputation of CMRIT is at stake. I also was a faculty member in CMRIT in
Sir.
2012-13.
Hello, sir.
Who is
Sir,
it?
this is Abhinav from CAC department.
Student?
Yes, sir, student.
Good. I'm happy that you have come forward.
So it was very nice presentation and really inspiring. So I was just wanted to know, what is your thinking process when you are stuck at a very complex problem and you're not able to solve it immediately? Like you are trying to solve it, but even after trying, you're not able to come up with a valid solution. And how do you tackle that situation?
Yeah, it is quite simple. For that, you have to learn to think simply, in simple terms. And you must try to simplify things. And you say, how, sir, how to simplify? All that will be there. When you become a simple person and think in simple terms,
Yes,
the
sir.
solution will unfold. So, for that, you have to learn the methodology of thinking. No one is teaching anybody thinking.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, you have to learn certain techniques of thinking by which you make your mind very fertile and allow it to go without any kind of obstructions. Therefore, I have myself read several books on thinking, Edward de Bono's books, as also many others who are written on innovation and creativity. I have seen that one. And because of that, I have made myself more creative and fertile in my thinking process. So, the thing is that you have to change your process from being a follower rather than a creator of a new thing. Recently, I came across a quotation by Albert Einstein. The definition of genius is taking the complex and making it simple. This is the definition which Albert Einstein gave. All of us say, Albert Einstein, E is equal to mc squared. Oh, nothing can be done. He is the ultimate. We say that. But I said, if Albert Einstein can say that, why can't Dinesh Anvekar say, even though he might not have got a Nobel Prize? I thought, because of my simple thinking methods, I said, my quotation I will now give you, the definition of a genius, is taking the simple and using it to solve the complex. Einstein told, taking the complex and making it simple. That is top down, go from the complex and bring down to simple. I am defining now the other way. The definition of genius is taking the simple and use the simple thing and go and solve the complex things. So to answer your question, definitely, whenever you are stuck up and you are in a complex situation, the situation or the problem is not complex. What is complex is your complexity in your brain. So if you simplify and start simply trying to look at it, gradually you will find that even though the problem appeared to be greatly complex, in fact it is quite simple, and a few simple things if you solve, the whole thing is solved.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Any other students?
I think they are in a mood to go home.
Yes, sir.
Please send feedback over the WhatsApp number.
Hello.
They can send the feedback over WhatsApp
Sure,
number.
sir. Sure. We are sharing a feedback link with them, sir. I
Okay.
will collect the feedback and I will share it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for spending time with us, thereby sharing your experiences and innovations with students and all the participants over here. So now I will request Professor Vivia to give vote of thanks. Vivia ma'am. Vivia ma'am, are you there? Okay. So it was really a wonderful session, sir. Uh, sure, I will come up with a few of the project batches who are showing interest in innovative projects and who are interested in filing the patents. So I will be back to you with the list of students surely within a week of time. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you.
accepting our request as a resource person for this event, making some time to spend with us to share your journey of innovation, which would really going to enlighten us with the unparalleled expertise that you have in the field of innovation. Thank you so much. We are grateful to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti, and thank you one and all.
Thank you.
I'm now logging off.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So thank you all for joining the session.